Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the next episode of my Pleasantview 50 years in the future. Today we are gonna talk about the dreamer slash broke household. Um, it says the dreamers, but it's almost only broke, or it is only brokes living there. But I will explain further when we go into the household. So let's do that now. So here we have the dreamer household. Which is a little bit weird. They are called the Dreamer household because at the moment there's only Brokes living in here. This is the house where I moved Brandy and Darren into because of the original Dreamer home bugged out for me. So every time I tried to enter the home, it crashed my game. And I ended up just moving them out and into another house because moving them back in didn't fix the problem. I even tried to move another family at one point into the Dreamer house, and it was still crashing. So I guess there was just something with that house. I now have just bulldozed that house because I didn't feel like finding out what the problem was. So one of the iconic houses in my Pleasantview isn't there anymore. But this is now my dreamer, or so-called original dreamer house. And this was where Darren moved in with Brandy when they got together. And who is living here now is Brandy's unborn baby. I called him Billy. I think this should be a clean template of Pleasantview, but after some time, or like now when I look at it, I feel like it maybe hasn't been completely clean. As I don't know, because I feel like Billy really, really, really looks like a male version of his mom. But maybe someone can tell me when we look at his personality or whatever. At least it is what it is. She got a boy, Billy, um, and he is living here with his now two adult boys who are twins, and he just had Talia with after he got abducted. But I will get into that later. Who has been living in this house is Brandy, and I'm gonna show it like this so you can see it more. Brandy and Darren moved in together into this house, where Brandy took Bo, Billy, Bo and Billy with her. I think Bo was a teenager at this point and Billy was a child. Um, and of course, Darren had Dirk with him too. Um, as you can see, Dustin, he's dead, and he died when he was a teen. He died of the flu, sadly. It was before I tweaked the mod that I used. I don't remember the creator now, but I can try to find it. Um, it's not the more realistic sickness mod because I cannot handle that. It's another mod, but I hadn't tweaked it at that point, so Dustin just, no matter what I tried to do, he got worse and worse, and then he died, sadly. But I guess that adds to the story. Um, so he died quite early. So he never moved in with the Dreamers. But when Brandy and Darren moved in together, they of course had their children from their earlier marriages. And then they got twins together, and that is Brent Dreamer and Bria, then Dreamer, now Goth. I have told you a little bit about Bria in the first Goth family. So yeah, they got born into this household, and I think they were teenagers, or they were children. I think they were children. Billy went to college, and they were kids when Bo and Dirk actually went to college shortly after they moved in. And I think the next round or the round after, Bo went to college, where the twins were still children. This means, of course, that Dirk never really got to know the twins that well, and I feel like Dirk was not too happy with the decision his dad made by moving away from his childhood home, and now with the whole broke family, and it was just too much for Dirk at that point. Um, so yeah, but we will get into that a little bit more later. So when Billy got back from college, his twins siblings were, or the two twins were, I think, in the late of their teenage years. Shortly after there, he got his own set of twins with a fine lady I'm gonna tell you about a little bit later. Um, so yeah, that's where we are now with the Dreamer household, or Broke's household. So here we have Billy Broke. Um, as you can see, he is for sure Brandy's son, unborn baby. He looks so much like Brandy. He is sloppy. He's quite outgoing. He's active, playful, and a little bit nice. Um, his bios, I have written a bio for him because I feel like something big happened for him, because the first thing he ever remembers is his brother Dustin dying. So that is a quite harsh beginning for his life, and I feel like that is has affected his life from the beginning. So I'm gonna read his bio. Billy's first memory is his big brother Dustin's death. Both moved on. Brandy found a new husband, and now Billy is here at the Dreamer house with his mom that just got twins with Darren Dreamer. Has she forgotten about Dustin? Is everyone just moving on? Well, they did, and Billy tried to do the same. He thought he found the one and even got twins, but she wasn't really the one. So now he has twins all alone. Will Billy find the one and actually get a normal, happy family and get over his brother's death? Um, the thing is, Billy is a full-on family sim. Doesn't have a secondary aspiration. He just want that family he never really got. Um, when they moved together, Brandy and Darren moved together, I feel like Billy found it odd, and because he only lived in the broke trailer, and his brother Bo always acted a little bit weird, and Dirk just suddenly moved out, so this dreamer family was kind of weird to him to get into. Um, but and also because Dustin never were talked about, they never really visit his grave or anything. So even though Billy didn't know Dustin, it really hit him because it was like Dustin was just forgotten about. So he was a little bit rebellious in the beginning of his life, even though he was a family sim. Um, he went out with Tessa Ramirez, and they even got caught. I know he also went out with Luna, that was his best friend for a long time. Um, let's see if it stands here anywhere. It doesn't. Hmm, interesting. I feel like she was always over, and they were always talking to each other, and I feel like they tried to kiss, but nothing more happened there. It was like, oh no, this was not nice. This kiss was not a nice thing. Um, Instead, he kind of felt like Tessa was a nice girl, and he kind of liked her and stuff like that. But in the later of his teenage years, it didn't really, how can you say it, continue, because he met Kiera instead. And Kiera is one of uh, this Pleasant View's big romance sims. Um, it's just kind of like Billy never got that memo, because when he find her, it was like everything else didn't matter. She was the most important. Even in college, he just went through college speedy Gonzalez and didn't want to think about a lot of about other than getting back to Kiara. Kiara didn't went to college, so they weren't there together. But he just wanted to be with her, so he hurried up to get home, and he found her again, asked her on a date. He fell in love. They had a woohoo, and then he was like, "We need to get married." And she, of course, said no because, well, she's a romance sim and she didn't want to, at least at that point, be engaged to anyone because she was freshly in adulthood and just wanted to enjoy life. Actually, she went to college, but it was home college. I have a mod for, I don't remember the name again. Me and names are really bad, but I will try to find it. Um, but yeah, they had their first kiss finally, and they made out, and they had a great time together. So great that Billy was sure that they were meant to be together. So he kept asking her to marry him, and she kept saying no. Somehow that wasn't enough for him to again get the memo that Kiera didn't want to get married. She didn't want to be tied down. She just wanted to enjoy life and not care about family stuff. And she did that with a big bang. She had, of course, other men she liked to be with. So he saw her, in his mind, cheating, even though they weren't really together. Um, and he got really mad about it, as mad that they lost their friendship. But as you can see, he didn't want to give up. So he went on another date with her and asked her again to get married, but she again denied him. And he was like, "Oh, well, but something needs to happen. I want to be together." And he kind of continued being with her, so much that she got pregnant and they got twins. And her being a romance sim uh, made her roll if she wanted to keep the babies, and she didn't. Which also, in my head, makes sense for her storyline, and I will get into that. But he would happily take over the kids, like with big joy. So he took the kids, had them move in, uh, and you would think that he would be like this really good dad, right? And he was a good dad, that's not that, but he didn't really teach them anything. He only taught Leonard to talk. I think the rest of their skills the grandparents teach them, or Brandy and Darren did. But after that, it was like Kiara didn't want to have anything else to do with him. She never called back. She never wanted to talk with him, and she was always busy. And he didn't understand why she didn't want to come and see the kids and have anything to do with them. Um, Even though he got them into private school, so it was going well and stuff, but suddenly it kind of clicked for him, and he found out that maybe she wouldn't be the one. And they had a discussion and a big um, argument, and it ended up in a fight. And of course, that fight meant that they went to be enemies, and then they fought again. And I think that was the point where Billy saw that that happily family he really wanted never happened. It would never happen. Not at least not with Kiara. He would have kids that didn't know his mom, which for him was so sad because he didn't know either his dad or his brother. And I feel like that kind of broke him. Um, he had a short kiss with Lily Burb, but it never went anywhere other than that because she already had someone else. Oh, okay. I think this has been on a community lot. He apparently had a rebound with the Liller. um, I guess that's ACR for you. I feel like that's probably him just being in a slum and not knowing what to do. At this point, he's still living here in the Dreamer. Of course, he is. You can see in the Dreamer home. But he's at this point one of the only ones living here because both Darren and Brandy has died at this point. The two twins, his siblings, had went to college, so he was living there with his two sons alone. Um, they both went to college though, and then he was just there alone, didn't know what to do. So he really settled in to just have focus on his hobby. His hobby is science, as you can see here. So he stargazed a lot. I guess he maybe tried to see if he could find Dustin or his dad, because I feel like he felt really lonely and didn't know what to do in life. And that ended up getting him abducted. And from that abduction, he fell pregnant and he got Talia. And even though Talia would be another kid of his, another child of his that doesn't know their other parent, I feel like he's really happy to have her because it's another love in his life. Maybe not a wife, but a kid he can really love. And that maybe could take a little bit of the pressure of the two twins he had. But at the same time as that, he had a little bit with Cynthia Rubin. Um, and I'm not sure where that is going. I'm not sure it will actually go anywhere because she has a couple of other guys she is involved with. But we will see if it ends up being Billy. She's a little bit younger than him, and as you can see, he is about to get. Doesn't have a long way yet. So maybe he's just gonna be a single dad, and that's his place in life. I hope he will accept it at some point because he still really wants to be married. As you can see, this is a want he has had since college, and it's so sad that it's still there. It's a constant reminder of him not being able to find love. And the last he remembers is Bria dying. He got to know his twin siblings quite good. Um, but yeah, it was just never the family he wanted. He wanted his own family. So we will see if he gets that at some point. But yeah, this is Billy Burb. No, Billy Dream. Billy Broke. I'm sorry, Billy Broke. And here we have one of Billy's twin boys. It's Leonard Broke. He was a family sim before college. In college, he re-rolled and is now a knowledge sim with the secondary of family. Um, he reminds me a lot of his dad because he really wanted that family before college, at least. Um, and in his childhood years, he really looked up to his dad and kind of wanted to be like him. Maybe just with a wife. But yeah, let's read his bio. Leonard grew up very well and just enjoyed his life with his family. He always had a lot of family around him, so not having a mom haven't really felt that bad. He even got a girlfriend. Life is great. He just wishes that his dad could see how great life is too. Um, I feel like Leonard and kind of both of the twins has done everything they could to make their dad happy and feel like his life was good and not missing the wife or their mother. And that is also why they moved back in after college, because they wanted to make sure that dad were okay and not just living there alone. But yeah, you can see Leonard. He's sloppy. He's really outgoing. He's lazy. He's playful, and he's a little bit playful, and he's nice. As I said, he was a family sim in the beginning of his life. He fell in love with Shiloh, Shiloh Landgrab. She was his first kiss. They went steady. They went out. They did all these teenage things that they needed to do. Um, oh, why is that already there? Hmm. I need to make sure that this makes sense. Yeah. Uh, I guess his dad was abducted before they went to college. I remember it differently, but oh well. He really loved Shiloh though. And when he went to college, it was with her, and they really he thought that they would have this good time together at college and study together and all this, but it just didn't happen. Shiloh kind of went to other people and wanted to be hang out with new people, meet new friends and stuff like that. And I think I think she kind of liked Nico Starks, but they never did anything really. But I feel like Leonard saw that there maybe could be something, so he started fighting Nico a lot, so much that they got to be enemies. And I think Shiloh saw this and was like, "Nope, this is not okay. This is not something I want to be a part of." So she kind of distanced herself to him, and now that they have moved back, they haven't really been talking to each other, and I'm not sure they're gonna. They still have a bolt, and he still have a crush on her. I'm not even sure she has a crush on him though. Uh, she's kind of other places, and I think with that also makes sense that why he's not a family sims anymore, because he saw that that love story that happened to his dad kind of was repeated for him, and he just didn't want to go that way. So I feel like he just, okay, well, she doesn't want to, and I'm gonna walk away and think about other stuff. So yeah, I'm interested to see where he's going. He doesn't really have a lot of others big attractions or anything. I hope that he could have been with Shiloh, but I'm not sure that's gonna happen this time. But yeah, that's Leonard Broke. And here we have the other brother of the twin brothers. This is Sam Broke. He is one of the few gays in my Pleasantview. Um, and that is something he has struggled with a lot. Um, he is quite sloppy. He is outgoing, he's lazy, he's playful, and a little bit nice. Um, he has, in the younger years, he followed his brother a lot because he couldn't find out what to do with his life because of him not really finding girls attractive, but everyone was talking about girls in his friend group and he didn't really know what to do. That was until he met the first love he got, which made everything kind of worse. And I'm gonna read it to you here. Sam has been struggling a bit with his sexuality. This meant his first love was older than him and, well, was kind of his cousin, right? No step cousin. Family is weird. But, well, he was way too old for him. The only problem is that the one he now has fallen in love with is also his step cousin. Is that it is allowed, right? They are at least almost the same age. Sigh. Family is weird. Love is too. So what this means um, is the first the first love in his life was, and I'm gonna go back here. You remember Billy? His mom is Brandy. Um, she married Darren and got the two twins. But Darren also have the famous Dirk Dreamer as a son. And Dirk Dreamer, as you can see here, is with Angela Dreamer before Pleasant. And I'm gonna tell you what happened there. But when we go into Angela, we see she has two sons. She has Elias Pleasant, that she got with one of the university dormies, Corey Landchild. They had a harsh breakup, and I'm gonna tell you about that later. But Elias Pleasant, is gay too. He, um, he's a little bit younger, no, older than Sam. So you can see they have no bloodline together at all. The only reason they are somewhat in family is because Angela is with Dirk, and Dirk is his step uncle, so not by blood. But he was older, so it was kind of hard. And when he went to college, Elias went to college, they kind of fell off, Sam and him. It just never really clicked for them again. Also because he was so much older, and I at that point removed the teen and adult enabled in ACR because I feel like it got a little bit too weird in community lots. Sam was kind of alone again, and in that aloneness, he met Ulrich Dreamer. And I feel like why he didn't think too much about him being a step cousin was because he never really have met his uncle too much, his step uncle. Dirk moved away from the Dreamer house so shortly after Darren and Brandy got together, so he never really got to know any of his step siblings, any of the Brokes, and not even the two twins that was his blood family. So in the beginning, Sam didn't even know that Ulrich and not either Elias either was step cousins because there was no bloodline there. But he fell for Ulrich pretty hard. They have such a good chemistry, as you can see here, and they even went steady. Like, where it is? Yeah, they even went steady. Um, and they were really happy. I feel like they went steady before college when they were, yeah, when they were still teenagers, and you can see they really hit it off. He were even doing a little bit of sneaking out and stuff like that. And in college, they of course moved, so they went steady again. In college though, Ulrich kind of, because Ulrich is a romance sim and he's bisexual. So he's just living his life. He kind of just wants to be who he is and be with people he wants to be. He doesn't see why being with one person should mean that you cannot be with other people. Why can everyone be happy together? Because he really loved Ulrich really loved Sam too. They really loved each other. But Ulrich just thought it wouldn't matter too much that he had a little bit of flirting with other people. But Sam obviously found that really, really not good. He wasn't happy about it. And it was a hard breakup because they lost their friendship. I guess this is the person Ulrich was cheating with him on. But they fought, and of course they broke up, and they were enemies, and they fought again. And this was just before they were done with college. Just before they were done with college. So he's kind of still heartbroken now that he moved home. He is a knowledge sim and always been a knowledge sim, but I gave him a secondary aspiration as romance after he moved back home because I have this thought that because Ulrich cheated like that, he's like, well, fuck it then. There is nothing called love and serious relationships. His dad never found anyone, and his brother couldn't even stay with his teenage love, and love just never seemed to stick. So why should he be faithful when no one else was anyway? We will see if he keeps that mindset. I feel like when he finds a new person, he would be more a romantic than a romance sim. But yeah, we will see where he ends up with this story. That was Sam. And last but not least, we have Talia Broke, the child born by Billy after he got abducted. As you can see, she is not the green-skinned alien. I have the multiple PT, or I have one multiple PT mod. So there's more differences in the aliens I get. I'm excited to see where she's going and how she's gonna look, and I really hope she can be what makes Billy's life more happy and good. As you can see now, she's just a little baby, and she's a stinky little baby. So more than that, there isn't much else to say about her. Um, this is their house they live in. When there was all the twins and it was a big family living here, there was a lot of beds here. But slowly, as they moved out, they got the beds with them and stuff like that. So it's quite empty here. There was also at one point a sewing machine for Brandy, but it's gone now. Because you can see down here that the house is a little bit more decorated and a little bit more homey. So yeah, hopefully I will get this to look a little bit more like this at some point. But yeah, that was the Dreamer Broke household. That was all I had for you today. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!